Hello and welcome to your favorite travel show, that is Tourismus Namibia. I am your host, Glenora Shipura, and let's take a look at what you can expect in today's broadcast. Under topics, we are at Kamp Vrede, which is showcasing an upcoming Potjiekos competition in support of black rhino protection in Namibia. Also, a new Namibian documentary, Namibia's wildlife economy, that offers a powerful exploration of the country's groundbreaking approach to wildlife conservation, and World Enviornment Day that was commemorated this week. Under destinations, we visit Jonno's Bistro right here in the capital, and then we are also at Lake Grappa Guestfarm located near the Augrabies Waterfall. And to the point, India's High Commissioner to Namibia, Rahul Shrivastava, provided an overview of his work since taking office in November 2024. We will be right back with these and more on the other side of this. Starting us off in our topics, we are having a rhino potjie. Kamp Vrede, located about 80 kilometers from Windhoek towards Dordrecht, is hosting its annual Potjiekos Competition on the 5th of July this year in support of the Black Rhino Protection Fund in Namibia. The event invites friends, families, and companies to gather their teams, fire up their potjies, and compete all for a great cause. The funds raised will go directly towards rhino conservation efforts, including anti-poaching patrols and community engagement initiatives. Now, the Black Rhino Protection Fund supports boots-on-the-ground efforts to safeguard Namibia's critically endangered black rhinos through direct funding for patrols, surveillance, equipment, training, and community-driven protection programs. The fund plays a vital role in ensuring these animals survive for future generations. Now, every contribution helps to strengthen frontline conservation and reduce poaching threats in key rhino habitats. Teams are encouraged to bring their best recipes, decorate their cooking stations, and showcase their spirit. Prizes will be awarded in several categories, including Best Potjie, Best Team Spirit, and Most Creative Setup. Well, this is sounding very mouth-watering, and it is for a good cause. Do let us know in the comment sections if you will be taking part in this competition, or you know of someone that will be taking part in the competition. Now, getting into our next topic, we are taking a look at a Namibian documentary. A new Namibian documentary, Namibia's wildlife economy, offers a powerful exploration of the country's groundbreaking approach to wildlife conservation. Directed by Andy Botele and produced by Ma Mokobo Video and Research, the film was released this year and is available in English and Sifwe with English subtitles. The documentary traces the evolution of wildlife conservation policy in Namibia and the wider Southern African region, spanning from the colonial era through to the present day. Set against the backdrop of a global biodiversity crisis, the film presents Namibia as a notable example of conservation success, boasting more wildlife than at any point in the past 100 years. Namibia is currently home to the largest free-roaming population of black rhino in the world, and together with Botswana, co-hosts the world's largest population of savanna elephants. The film features perspective from scientists, government officials, community leaders, and landowners who collectively examine the reasons for Namibia's success in safeguarding its wildlife heritage. Well, this is definitely good news to hear, especially that all the conservation efforts are not in vain. And I would say do make it a note or a point to just, watch the documentary. Getting into our next topic, Environment Day. The Environment Ministry, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, this week commemorated World Environment Day under the theme Ending Plastic Pollution and Swakopmund, World Environment Day is celebrated annually on the 5th of June and encourages awareness and action for the protection of the environment. According to the ministry, the day has grown into a global movement, engaging governments, businesses, civil society, and individuals in more than 150 countries. The ministry said that this year's theme draws attention to one of the most critical environmental challenges of our time. Over 400 million tons of plastic are produced globally each year, half of which is single-use and less than 10% is recycled. The rest ends up in the landfills, rivers, oceans, and even in our food chain. Now that concludes our stories in our topics. Do let us know in the comment sections on our social media pages what you think of the topics we did discuss here in today's broadcast. On the other side of the break, we will be taking a look at the destinations that you must visit. Starting us off in destinations, we are in the capital city. We are at Jonno's Bistro, and it is situated in the heart of the southern industrial area of Windhoek. Jonno's Bistro is ideally located for business lunches and early morning breakfast, designer sandwiches, cold or hot beverages, alcoholic beverages, and sweet or savory snacks. Let's have a look.
So, good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Gallagher, and I'm the owner of Jonno's Bistro.
What inspired you to start the bistro?
So, I worked for several locally private-run businesses. I would say almost family-run businesses, and I found that I took the best of what was working and did my own thing because you don't really want to, it's hard to break into another family, isn't it? So I decided to do my own thing, and here we are, 10 years later.
Okay. What inspired you with the menu?
So I come from quite an international background. I have lived in Namibia for almost 30 years, but I grew up in South Africa. We emigrated to Canada. So I grew up in Canada. But a lot of my influence would come from my mom, who has Italian background. So a lot of, and I think in this community, we need to cater to everyone, locally as well as the international market. So I like to do Namibian with a European fusion flair, if you will.
You source the ingredients locally?
So yes, all our ingredients are sourced locally. So let me think about this carefully, how we're going to go about this. I'm a qualified chef, and I have qualified staff working for me. So our passion to our ingredients is taken care of from the bottom. Everything is made from scratch. We don't have anything coming in pre-made packages or buckets, containers of any type like that. Our gravy would be roasted bones with a mirepoix, which is onions, carrots, celery, and then you slowly build it from there. And then that would be your mother sauces, and you make all your sister sauces from that. The only thing that I buy in ready to sell would be our baked breads, because I like my sleep, and bakers don't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you offer any vegetarian, gluten-free meals?
We've got quite a substantial, large menu. It's predominantly sandwich based with grilled meats, steaks and schnitzels and stuff.
What a beautiful place indeed. And if you are looking for something that gives you a little bit of nature and just good food, I suggest you visit Jonno's Bistro. Now, next up in our destinations, we are at Lake Grappa. Lake Grappa Guestfarm is located near the Augrabies Waterfall, and with its stunning surrounding and array of sport facilities, the Guestfarm is the ideal destination for adventure seekers and sport lovers alike. Serena Visser tells us more. Let's have a look.
I'm Serena Visser from Lake Grappa, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about Lake Grappa. Lake Grappa was built for Gerrit's son Geer, which was an international and South African skier. They used to ski in the river, but then they started getting a problem, and Gerrit built the dam for him to practice on. There was a few international and national championships held here as well. After that, around the dam developed Lake Grappa, the accommodation, the bar, and the venue, and the restaurant. Accommodation consists of rooms, luxury rooms, family rooms. We've got standard rooms, and then we've got two bedroom chalets and two one-bedroom chalets. We've got a restaurant with a la carte menu, and we've got a bar which anyone can visit. And then we've got a venue where we cater for weddings, we cater for gatherings like corporate functions, we do birthdays, we do kitchen teas and baby showers and kiddies parties. We've got a lovely play area for the kids. And we've got camping for those who like to camp, and then you can also fish in the lake. We've got a lot of fish in the lake. Why should you come here? The tranquility, recharge your soul, to rest, and just to have peace of mind in a quiet, beautiful surroundings. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our destinations. On the other side of the break, we will be taking a look at the topic that we are discussing in To The Point. In our To The Point segment, watch as India's High Commissioner to Namibia, Rahul Shrivastava, provided an overview of his work since taking office in November 2024. He also shared an update on the status of the cheetahs that Namibia gifted to India. Have a look.
I thought that I will tell you some of the developments that have been happening between India and Namibia. I won't go into the long story because India's relations with Namibia go on for several decades, even before we got our independence, long before you got your independence. But for the last, say, 5-6 months, what we have been doing and what plans we actually have. So I came here in November, and that was a very active time. At the same time, the holidays began. But one of the purposes, one of the reasons why I wanted to come here early before end of the year was because we were requested by the Namibian government for humanitarian aid because you had drought last year. So we sent about 1,000 metric tons of maize and 1,000 metric tons of rice, and I wanted to be here before the consignment arrived. So that is how I began my term here. And as they say, you hit the ground running. So that is how it was. And thereafter, we have had some visits with Namibia. We always have a very active bilateral relation, but we have had several visits. And I think maybe I'll begin with the media part, because when I came, we had 2 journalists who went to India. This was, I think, in January. And right now we have 2. One is maybe on the way, but one social media influencer. We have them coming. Yeah, he's we have turned him into an Indian. He's got even an Indian name now. He calls himself Karan, and he looks like Karan. So yeah, thanks to you for coming straight from the airport. I hope you had a good visit. And similarly, we have 2 more journalists who are going to India shortly after this, middle of June, next week. Okay. Next week they'll be going. In between, we have had several other exchanges. To begin with, the head of the Electoral Commission, she went to India in January, and thereafter we have had some other visits. Next month is the Commonwealth Trade Ministers meeting. So for that, we are getting a business delegation. In January, one thing I forgot is the new year also began with one of our big naval ships making a port call in Walvis Bay. So that was some work for us. And then in terms of the visits, we also, maybe it will be interesting to you because we got cheetahs from Namibia. This happened in 2022. And some of the media reported about some deaths of cheetahs in India. But the real story is that the numbers have increased. So we had got 8 cheetahs, the number is 12. And recently I met a political dignitary in Namibia, and she told me that whenever animals from Namibia are sent to some countries, and when they ask, okay, what happened to the animals, the response is 0. But then I had a response. So the dignitary was very happy. I said that numbers have increased from 8 to 12. So we are getting a delegation from India to talk about this, to talk about what more we can do in terms of environment, maybe animals. One of the requests recently that we have for Namibia is to get a savanna elephant from Namibia to India. Why? Because in the zoo, Delhi Zoo, we have an elephant, a savanna elephant, a male one, and the female companion has died. And elephants are very social animals. So this elephant is both in emotional and physical difficulty. So we want a gift of, say, 2-3 elephants from Namibia to India. And I know that in Namibia, wrong way to say, but the Namibians, the elephants have become a nuisance. So you have 200,000 elephants, so that should be easier. But yes, getting back to the delegation which is coming from the Ministry of Environment, that is to talk to officials here and give an update on what is happening in terms of the cheetahs. We have a lot of good news on cheetahs. So that's one delegation which is coming. We have also a plan to have several commercial events, even as I speak, and all of you are welcome. Last week, we inaugurated one photo exhibition on India in the High Commission. So all of you are welcome. If you want to come, please join us. What else? One final thing I want to mention, because I had some queries on scholarship and the training programs that we do. We have scholarships for Namibian students. We have some programs for journalists that I said, but in addition to that, we have what is called an iTech program. Some of you have been already there for the iTech program. This iTech program is a short-term training course. This is mostly for people in the government, but also for people who are doing journalism, who are in the business sector, who are professionals, who are working for banks or media. So after this, maybe Mr. Jata will send you information on this, because as journalists, we have a limitation in terms of numbers. We can send, say, 2, 3, 4 journalists every year to India, but not more. But when you go as part of this program, then you go for a short term, say 2 weeks to 3 months to maybe 6 months program. And then you can also cover the media part. So that is one information that we will send to you. And the request is also to reach out to more people, because we want young Namibians to benefit from this program. The tragedy is that we have about 120 civilian slots. We also send about 80 defense officials from Namibia. That is well utilized. But from the civilian part, not many people know about it. So it's a free program, fully sponsored by Government of India. And you get to meet people, like-minded people. If you go on, say, program on journalism, you will get 50 people from, say, 50 countries who are from the same area as you. So you benefit from that. That is one. You get to see India. You got a break. And then, as I said, if you are a social media influencer, then you can also report on that or cover India. So basically, I think that is what I wanted to say. I have a long list of things that we are planning to do, but because now we have got in touch with you, I'm sure that we would be able to pass on information as and when some things happen. And I repeat, as a High Commission, we are we don't say that, but then we are not for profit organization. We are not a commercial organization. So our only aim is to have goodwill with Namibia for us and for the present government. If in India, the continent, African continent, Namibia is a great priority, and we want to learn. We want African continent or Namibia to learn from our experience, and that is how all these things come out. We are not here for profit. We are only here to build bridges, and in that you have a great role to play. So thanks everyone for coming. It's not a very cold day, so but a Friday, and we have some Indian food for you. I hope you will enjoy. So thanks once again. Thank you very much.
And that's all the time that we have for you guys. As much as I hate to leave you guys, I have to say goodbye from me, Glenna Rashipura. Until next time.